So where are we, guys? What are we discussing in the last time? We are looking into the jQuery API. We discussed about how do we include a jQuery API into your application. We have seen what do you mean by compressed file and non-compressed file, what been provided by jQuery. How do you convert your existing JavaScript code into a minified code? So those things we had a look into, right? So anyone, any questions up to last class? And we have even seen some of the jQuery methods also. We have seen existing HTML code. How do we convert into jQuery part? Okay. So hope everyone is so clear until there. No questions? Okay. And on the top, we have even discussed the concept of Ajax also. Okay. At the very end, we have seen what do you mean by Ajax, asynchronous JavaScript and XML. What is the difference between a front-end developer and the back-end developer role? What do you mean by a web service? Web service as an independent job getting executed at the server side, which is being identified with a unique URL, right? And how the front-end guy is putting a request to a web service URL through the URL, and internally server interacts with the DB. So these concepts, we completely call it as a Ajax. So any questions up to last class, yes or no?
No, sir.
No,
No,
everyone is clear? Awesome. That's good. Now, let us practically implement the same. Okay. Now, what I wanted to do is, whatever this jQuery, okay, this is what our code we have. This is our app.js. My expectation is now you come to your page. Now, when you say load product details, this is how the data is coming. But now my expectation is, if you see into the code right now, this is actually hard coding the data. I don't want to go with the hard coded data. I want to hit a web service and I'm going to get the data out of it. So first of all, the question, who is responsible for creating a web service and providing a URL?
server.
Backend developer or the front-end developer?
Backend developer.
Backend developer.
Obviously the backend developer. But right now, we guys are not backend developers. We are we are still into the front-end development. Then who is going to provide the URL for us? Because we are not yet comfortable in creating the server-side URL. Okay, when you guys are not very much comfortable and you don't have any idea of web service URL, etc. and all, how do we create the URL, etc. and all? The simple way to do is create an external JSON file. Okay, create an external JS file. How I'm going to do this? Let us take out these product details. Okay, guys, please make sure everybody put some extra attention. As I said to you, these are the very, very, very important concepts. Once you go into the real time, this is what you actually do. Okay, so I'm going for a separate file. I'm pasting only the data and I want to make it as a JSON object here. Okay, this is the key. And I simply save this guy. I create a new folder, something called as data. Under the data, I put something called prod data.json. Okay, now I'm saving this guy. When it is a JSON file, it is very much mandatory that it should be only in double columns, and you cannot skip this inverted commas and all. Okay, so I say Control H, name with all inverted commas. Replace all, and wherever you see the single column, make it as double column. Replace all, and price, Control H. Replace all, image,
means if we put .json extension, so we have to strictly follow all the rules of JSON. Just like whatever they had given us chances, so we cannot do that.
Yes, exactly. Because in your JavaScript, it has, oh, 1 second, guys. I missed this images part. 1 second. Okay. Menu is fine. Image, I'll say Control H. Yeah. So your question is, I mean, when it is a JSON file, obviously yes, because JavaScript is giving a privilege saying that, boss, you don't need to put all the JSON as an inverted commas and all, I will automatically treat it. But when you say that it is a JSON file, obviously you need to strictly follow whatever the JSON predefined conditions are there. Am I clear? Okay, next. Now, what I have done is I just created a simple JSON file here. Okay. And one more thing, guys, whenever you are going to work with the Ajax call, for sure, you need to hit that guy through the server URL. It is not through C drive or D drive. Now, when I say I open this guy, DHTML, now when I go for this data, now when I open this URL, okay, this is how the URL is going open. So now I cannot call this guy as a web service URL. When I say web service URL, it has to be from the server. Now what I can do, can I start my server? Because we already set the server here. Now I can simply go for this CMD npm start. What happened? Module not found. Someone deleted again. Awesome. Under the bin folder, www, what they are seeing. Cannot find module HTTP errors. Okay, npm install. Okay, now I see npm start. Okay, server is listening at 8081. Now what I can do, instead of this public, I can simply say localhost 8081, click on enter. Now, can I call this as a web service URL, boss? Yes, we are hitting one of the URL and we are receiving the data. That is what your web service responsibility. You are not bothered like being a front-end developer. As a UI developer, you are only bothered about when you are hitting the URL, are you receiving the data or not? Yes, I'm receiving the data. Now we treat this as a web service URL because we are not comfortable in creating the actual web service. We are creating a JSON file and treating itself that itself as a web service URL. Any questions here? Okay. Now, what is my expectation is, now you have to take this web service URL in your application or in your code. We have to remove this part. Okay, I don't want to go with any type of hard coding this data. Okay, simply remove this. It is a simple empty array. Now our expectation is hit this web service URL, get the data and fill into the product details. Now everything is same because we already written the JavaScript code responsible for taking the array and rendering the UI. That is already working. But now I want to I have created a JSON file. Now I will hit that particular JSON file and I will receive the data out of it. Okay. So what are the steps to be followed in order to hit this URL and you will be receiving the data? So for that, jQuery is providing a predefined method. There is a method called as fetch method in JavaScript, but in jQuery also he's written some piece of the predefined method. You can simply make use of it. What is that method? $.ajax is one of the predefined methods. What jQuery is providing. What is the responsibility of this $.ajax method? It is capable of taking a URL, hitting the URL and receiving the data out of it. Okay, it is capable of hitting a URL, hitting a web service and receiving the data out of it. Now what I'm going to do, under this Ajax method, it is going to take an object as a parameter. Under that, the very first key is URL. Specify what is the web service URL to which I need to connect to. Okay, specify what is the URL to which I need to connect to. So I simply said that this is the URL to which I need to connect to, which is your dummy JSON file. Super fine. Along with this, you need to specify what is the data type you are expecting from the server. Okay, what is the data type you're expecting? Are you expecting an XML? Are you expecting a JSON? Are you expecting a string? Are you expecting an RSS? You can specify whatever the data type you have, but here I'm going to specify the data type. Our expected data type is JSON object. Third thing, you need to specify when the communication is happening between the client and the server, whether you want to go with a secured way or non-secured way. So I'm going to specify a method attribute, something called as get or post communication. Another property, something called as data. What is this data? Here in our case, we are hitting the server to receive the data. We are not sending any data. But take an example where user is getting registered and you want to send the data to the user. So how you're going to send the data? So if anytime you're going to send the data, this is what you're going to make use of it. Data is a predefined property through which you can actually send some data. Right now, I'm not sending any data. I'm not passing. Along with this, we have two callback methods. One is success and one is error. Predefined callback methods, you simply specify what is the callback method for the success and what is the callback method for error. Okay. Now, under this success, this is the predefined method. Let us say console log successfully got response. So this is one of the method which will be automatically executed whenever you get a response from the server. Okay, line number 9, success callback method will automatically get executed whenever there is a successful communication between the client and the server, or you get a successful response from the server. And another method, console.log error while communicating. This is another callback method which gets executed automatically whenever there is an error while communicating with the server. Okay, it will be automatically taken care. So this is the predefined method using which you can actually hit a web service URL and you will be receiving the data. Okay, so let us implement this. Earlier, what we have written the piece of code, whenever user clicking on the button, load data is the one which is getting called. In load data, what we have done, you are iterating over the product details. But before iterating the product details, first of all, you need to get the product details. Yes. So now I don't want to go load the product data. I will go with a function, something called as get product details. First of all, you need to get this product details. Now I simply call this get product details method. Now under this get product details method, I'm going to hit this Ajax call. Take out this Ajax call, keep inside this guy. Okay, I simply put this guy off. That's it. Okay, I don't have any parameters here. Save this guy. Now, if you come back to your page, reload the page, come back to your spec, and let us see what actually we are getting in the console. Now, when I'm hitting this load product data, you are going to receive the very first error, which it says that from original cross policy has been received. The first thing what you need to understand is whenever you are hitting an Ajax call, obviously the URL should be from the server and the client also should be from the server. Why the hell you are putting this E drive, F drive, etc. and all? You have to run it from the server, right? Now, instead of this public so-and-so, I say local host colon 8081, click on enter. Now, if you click on this load product data, do you get a message, something called as successfully got response? Awesome. But here, our expectation is not to see a message called as successfully got response. Our expectation is I have to receive the data from the web service URL, isn't it? Now, how you're going to receive the data? Whenever you have this, yes, please. Yes,
Sir,
please.
is it allowed to write is it allowed to write DHTML code inside that success and
Success is a simple callback method. You write anything, any piece of JavaScript code, we can write it. Okay. Yeah. So another thing now, under this success, now what we got is we are simply getting a message that successfully got response. Boss, this is not what I wanted. I want to see the data. I want to see the data, what I actually receive from the server. So how do you see the data? In order to see this data, under the success, you are going to get a parameter, something called as response. Okay. Now, if you console these guys, console.log response, what is this response object here? This response object is the response what we are receiving after we hit this web service URL. Okay. Save this guy, come back to the page and reload the page. Now, if you click on this load product data, I got a successfully message. Along with this, do I receive the data from the web service URL? Yes, boss. This is what we expect. That's it. Now, once you have the data, we know how to use the JavaScript code in order to render this, in order to create the DHTML code and all. Yes. Now, what I do, if you see here, under the response, there is something called as product details array. Now, I simply take out this guy. I say product details is equal to response dot product details. That's it. Now, if you simply call this load data method, which we have already defined, that's it. My job is done. Now, if you come back to your page, reload the page, load product data. I have the product data. Awesome. But once you go into the source code of this, anywhere are you hard coding the data? Not at all. This is what we call it as Ajax concept, through which we are hitting the server and we are receiving the data from the server. Now, say for example, I want to change the laptop price from 5,600 to something else. Are you guys responsible of doing this? Being a UI developer, are you responsible for changing the product price from so-and-so? Can you do it from the source code? No.
No, sir.
Backend guy, he is responsible for doing the changes. So they do the changes. Say, for example, backend guy, instead of 5,600, they say something called as 8,000. Save this. We are not at all responsible. We are not changing our UI code. You simply reload the page, load the product data, you got the updated price. This is what happens in your actual real time. You never ever hard code the data. You always hit the web service URL. You are going to receive the data out of it. Any questions in this example, guys? Again, I'm telling this is very important. Let me know if you have any piece of question. Anywhere you feel like question, let me know.
I'm confused in this function. Get product details.
Sorry, sir. What was that?
Sir, I'm confused in that function. Get product details. What actually we are doing?
What actually we are doing? I'm hitting a server URL and I'm receiving the data.
Sir, from where we are getting this URL?
Have you joined it on time, Sayed?
Sir, I've joined, but my connection is not that much fast. That's why.
Fine.
What's
No
lagging?
problem. So yesterday we have seen this example. We have seen this architecture. Anytime the client side have to receive the data, from where he will receive the data, how he will hit a server. How he will hit a server. We discussed about that, right?
Yes,
Inside the server, there are individual jobs which are running. Every individual job, we call it as a web service, and every web service is identified with a unique URL. That is what we discussed.
Yes, sir.
From the front end, if at all you have to receive the data from the server, what is the only thing you wanted?
Unique URL.
From the client guy, if at all you have to receive the data from the server, what is the thing you wanted?
Unique URL. Sir.
Exactly. That unique URL is the web service URL.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, this is the piece of code. We have written the piece of code from line number 28 to line number 42.
Yes.
What we have written is hit one of the service, which is at the server side, hit
Yes.
that, receive the data. Now, after we receive the data, we already know what the JavaScript code will do, adding a iteration, creating the DOM elements, etc. That we already know that. But
Yes.
this piece of code from line number 28 to line number 42, this is the piece of code hitting the web service URL and getting the data. Now, the first question is where you are getting the web service URL. As we guys are still into the front end, we don't know how to hit a server. We don't know how to create a web service URL. We haven't received up to that topic. Now, what I'm here, instead of this, I'm creating a simple external file, simple JSON file I'm creating.
Okay.
Till and unless you feel not comfortable with this creating web services, you simply create a .json file, only JSON data, no JavaScript data. Now, if you hit JSON file, see, this is what we are receiving. Where is that? Yeah, this is what. Now, can I treat this guy as a web service URL?
Yes, sir.
Example, we can treat that guy because web services hit a URL, you receive
Yeah.
the data. That is what
Yes,
we
sir.
want. So I'm hitting the URL, getting the data. Now I'm taking that URL, giving to $.ajax method. For this $.ajax method, this is a predefined method. Who is giving this method? Who is
Okay.
giving this method? jQuery.
jQuery. Yeah.
jQuery guy. Okay. So for this, we need to pass some properties. What are those? You need to specify what is the web service URL. You
Yeah.
need to specify what type of data you are expecting from the server, because not only JSON, it could be a string, it could be XML, what server might throw. And
Yes.
when you're communicating with the server, it might be a get communication, post communication.
Yes,
It
sir.
could be anything. On the top, you have success callback or the error callback. These are the callback methods, because why the reason we are calling it as a callback? We are not manually invoking them. I'm not invoking a success method. I'm not invoking an error method. I'm simply specifying or defining that success means this, error means this. Now, who is responsible for invoking the success guy? $.ajax method will take care of it. When I'm
Yes.
hitting server, if I receive the response from the server, I automatically invoke the success guy. When I'm hitting a server, if I get an error, I automatically invoke the error. Assume like you're giving something like this. You are hitting this web service URL. Is this web service URL existing? No.
No, sir.
Automatically whether that error guy is executing or not. Reload the page, console, load the product data. See, automatically.
Yes, sir.
So we are not taking care. It will automatically take care. Once I get a response, I will invoke the success. Once I get an error, I will invoke the error callback. And
Yes.
one more thing is, this success guy is even having the parameter which is called as response. It is a formal parameter. You can even say something called as some prasad also, whatever the object it is. But
Yes,
it
sir.
doesn't give much information. I mean, what is that? It's not self-descriptive. But if I
Yeah.
put a response, it is more descriptive that, okay, whatever the response I receive from the server, this is what it is.
Yes.
Now, if you see, when I'm reloading the page, I load the product data. What is the response you received? You received this data from the server. That's it. That is what we wanted.
Yes,
Once
sir.
I have the data, our JavaScript is super heroic that he is capable of creating any type of dynamic data. So that is what
Yes.
we are rendering, and that is what you see on the page.
Yes, sir.
Are you clear now, Sayed? No
Yes,
confusion?
sir. I'm clear. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Very
Thank
good.
you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, good that you're asking the questions. Next, come on. Anyone? Any other questions?
What is the
Sir, in
full form of
creating
Ajax?
JSON file.
Sorry, one by one. Raj, can you please go ahead?
Sir, in
Ashik.
creating JSON file, we just keep under curly braces.
Yes, because if it is a JSON in the sense, only JSON object, no assigning variables, etc. It is a simple JSON object. Under that, I have a key called as product details, which is having the array of objects. Under that, individually, we have individual objects, which are individual product details.
Sir, actually, JSON syntax, we should have variable and self.
That is not JSON syntax, right? That is a JavaScript assigning a variable. When I say JSON, when I say object, object should be there, right? Is where is coming from JavaScript or jQuery? Sorry, JSON. JavaScript. Right?
JavaScript. Yes.
Yeah. So we don't specify that where, etc. and all. Simply object is JSON. That is what is specified here. If we put where, etc., it simply throws an error. Boss, you said it as a JSON. Why you're writing JavaScript code?
Okay.
Clear, Rashikar?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Next.
Sir, you are quoting get method, but it's showing in console error. Why, sir?
Why it is showing an error? No error, right? This guy image is throwing an error. See, what is the error which is coming? If you see at this guy, you are loading an image which is not there. Obviously, that is what it is saying. It is not throwing about the web service.
Okay, left side is writing get. So I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Next. Come on, guys. More questions. Any piece of question.
What is the full form of Ajax?
Asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Okay. Anyway, I need to elaborate that guy also. Ajax is asynchronous JavaScript and XML. What do you mean by synchronous? Okay. Anyway, I will explain this guy each and every step. What is asynchronous? What is synchronous? what is XML, why not JSON, etc. Those things I will discuss. But just to answer your question, this is what the full form of this.
Sir, can you please describe the Ajax syntax?
Okay, dollar dot. You're talking about the method, right?
Yes, sir. Just
Okay.
now we have defined the Ajax call. So
Okay.
we where it's coming the jQuery and where it's coming the Ajax call.
Okay, when I say dollar dot Ajax, it is a predefined method what jQuery is providing, using which you can hit a web service URL, you can receive the data. I think yesterday I was so clear, Ajax is not a technology, it is a concept. Okay, it is not like in JavaScript it is called as Ajax, in other technology it could be something. No, that is not the case. Ajax is everywhere Ajax, because Ajax is not a technology, it is a concept. The concept of hitting a URL, getting the data and using the data, we call it as Ajax. Through web service URL, you are going to hit it and you're receiving the data. That is what called as Ajax. Okay. Now, when I say dollar dot Ajax method, this is one of the predefined method using which you can implement that concept practically. This is what jQuery is providing. So what jQuery is saying is, once you use this dollar dot Ajax method, anytime you want to hit a URL and you want to receive the data. If you are going with a plain JavaScript, right, there is a predefined method, something called as fetch method. Okay, let me show you that guy also. Okay, see here, fetch method. Fetch is a predefined method. Simply specify what is the URL and what are the properties. That's it. That is a pure JavaScript code. Okay, see here, what is a fetch? Fetch method. Method, if you want to specify any headers, if you want to specify any body, etc. and all, dot done method, etc. You receive it. But here we are using jQuery, right? jQuery already giving one of the method. We are making use of it. So now what these guys saying, you specify an object to me. Under that object, you need to specify a lot of things here. What are those? You need to specify the web service URL, the URL to which I need to hit and I need to receive the data. You need to specify the method. I mean, whether I need to go with a get communication or a post communication. You need to specify the data. What is this data? If you want to send any data to the server, whenever I'm hitting to the server, my expectation is not only receiving the data every time, isn't it? My expectation is not only receiving the data, right? Sometimes you may also send some data like registration. Once you, or else password validation. You give your ID and password. Once you click on valid, is the ID and password need to be sent to the server so that server will check whether the given ID and password is valid or not? Yes. So those things you need to specify in the data, and you need to specify the data type. Whenever we are interacting with the server, every time it is not like you only interact with the JSON. Yes, JSON is recommended, but there could be some chance that people might want an XML, people might want a string, etc. and all. So you need to specify the data type here. What type of data type you're expecting from the server? Okay. On the top, you have a lot of other things like synchronous, asynchronous, JSON P communication. Those things I'll talk later. But along with this, you need to specify something called as success and something called as error. These are the callback methods. Whatever the method you specify, that will be automatically invoked when there is a success communication or when there is a error communication. Are you clear, ma'am, with your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And once again, where the exception comes into picture here, if in the Ajax call?
It is not an exception right now. Exception
Like,
is,
for example, if there are if success message, we are getting the response as a success message, and the error, if it is error message, then if any exception arise. So
we don't get, there are only two options when we interact with the server. Either it is success or it is error. That's it. Exception will come in your JavaScript code, right? Now, say, for example, you are identifying an element which is not available. That is a JavaScript code, right? Nothing to do with your Ajax. When I'm hitting a server, there is no chance of getting an exception. The only chance of getting the only chance is either it will be an error completely or it will be a success.
okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, but yes, there are different status codes you might be having. Status codes, right? Okay, let me show you what actually the server status codes are. Okay, so these are the status codes what you have, guys. Whenever you're receiving some status code from the server, there will be from 100 to 599. This is the total status codes what you receive. When it is 100 to 199, informational responsive. When it is 200 to 299, successful responsive. 300 to 399, redirection message, so and so. Okay, so everyone, if you get a chance, just have a go through. You don't need to go with each and every status code, but at least 5 from 1 to 100, or sorry, 100 to 199, 200 to 299, something like this. Okay, some of these are, say for example 200, it is a successful message. Okay, so like this, 500, there is an error from the server side. So like this, the status code you will be receiving from the server, that also we can handle. Yeah, hope you're clear with the question, right, Fran?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next,
Hello, sir.
please go ahead, please.
Sir, I'm yesterday. Sir, my problem is GitHub account is deleted. I'm pinging him the Telegram ID.
Have you messaged me, Anil?
Yes, sir. Telegram.
Oh, I didn't receive that. Can you please do it now? I mean, okay, you have to send in the group or you to me personally?
Personally, sir.
I didn't receive it, Anil. Sorry. Can you please do it right now?
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, could you explain the 35th line, sir?
Line number 35. Okay. So what do you mean by this line number 35? Before this, if you see what is the response we received from the server, this is what? Response object is having a key called as product details. Under that, there is all the values which is in the form of array. Isn't it? Server is throwing a response which is having a key called as product details. Under that, you have the array. Now, if at all you want to iterate, is it not you need to work on this array? Yes, that is what I'm doing. From the response, find out a key called as product details. Is it not indirectly an array? Assigning that array to a key to a variable called as product details. Or else, if you feel confusion, then you can say for example, server might throw something called as p data. Okay, save this guy. Now, once you hit this guy, you say load product data. Obviously, there is an error. Why so? What is the key what you received from the server? What is the key we received from the server?
P data.
P data. Now, when I'm reading the data from the server, what I need to specify here? Response dot
Data.
P data. Whatever the key you receive from the server, that is all I need to mention, right? Now that array will be assigned to this guy. Now you have the load data, which will iterate over that array. Did I answer your question?
Sir.
Yes. Next.
Hello, sir.
Go ahead.
Sir, in URL, is URL is always active in web service?
Is URL is
Active in web
obviously
service?
it should be active, right? If the web service is down, which indicates server is down, you will be automatically getting a message that server is down or server might be into an error, and you have to try it after some time. You would have seen in most of the web pages, you get these type of messages saying that boss, currently server is not available. Please try after some time. Why so? This web service might be down because of lots of hits and all, or due to some maintenance, server might be down. So that could be the reason. Clear for us?
Yes, sir.
Next.
If I don't mention data type, then what error I will get?
If you don't mention data type, okay, let us see this. If you say that you haven't specified what type of data you need to receive from the server. Now, if you reload the page, load product data, still you're receiving the data. No problem it is. It is not mandatory. Okay.
Sir, then why you wrote data type?
Sorry, ma'am.
If it is not mandatory, then it is not needed to write data type every time.
Actually, there is a chance. Now, if I say mistakenly something called as string. Now, if you come back and reload the page, now you say load product data. Am I getting this error while communicating? Why so? You are expecting a string, but server is throwing a JSON. Okay, that is a problem. What you understand? Now, what is your question is, if it is not needed anyway, by default, I'm getting a JSON. Okay. Right now, we created the web service in such a way that it only throws the JSON. That is the reason automatically you're getting a JSON. In future, once we become the server side developer, and not only we, when you go into the real time, one individual web service is capable of responding with different types of data type. Someone want the same data in a CSV format. Someone want the same data in a XML format. Someone want the same data in a JSON format. Then do you need to specify what type of data type you want it to the server so that accordingly he's going to throw the response? Right
Yes.
now, ours is a dummy service URL. That is the reason it is working everywhere. But when you actually go into the web service, you will get the data type also. Based on that, server by guy will respond it. Clear, Sonali?
Yes, sir, got it.
Yeah. Next.
Sir, can we use multi URL in Ajax?
Single $.ajax method is capable of hitting a single URL and receiving the data. In a single application, you can have any number of web service calls. For that, individual $.ajax method has to be used. Next.
Sir, in a backend guy only give us the URL. How can I know that in URL the different keys there?
Sorry, Robin, could you repeat your question again?
Sir, in backend guy, they give us only the URL part, right?
Yes.
How can we know that in the URL the different keys there? What is the keys there?
That is what they will mention, right? That is what we say, something called as handshaking between the client guy and the server guy. Whenever server guy is providing the API or URL or web service URL, these guy is called as, people call it as a API, people call it as a REST API, people call it as a web service, people call it as a simple URL. All these are naming the same. Okay. Now, whenever there is a project, say that some set of team members are working as a backend and some set of team members working as a front end. Now there is a common handshaking between the client and the backend guy. Backend guy will say that this is the API, this is the URL, web service URL, this is the name of it, this is what I'm expecting, you need to send it, this is what you will receive, what is the key, etc. and all. They don't change the format without giving a notice to the UI guy. That is the common handshaking between these two guys.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Without
Sir,
notice, they don't update
Sir,
anything.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, excuse me.
Go ahead, Shiva.
Sir, can't we create URL without creating JSON separate external JSON file?
Can we create URL? That is what we discussed yesterday, right? Anything, if you have any of the server idea, you can create your own web service URL.
Okay.
Actually, the problem why this is not the way you'd work in your real time. In your real time, you have to create an actual web service. But for that, you need to have an idea of Java server or Apache or JBoss or WebLogic or Node.js server. If you have an idea of any of the server, then you can start creating that web service. You make use of the real web service instead of hard coding.
Okay. I got it.
It, yeah?
Yes.
Anyway, I will show it right now. Okay. Guys, are you clear with this? Can I go with the topic? Yeah, go ahead, Haman.
Sir, is there, once we hit the server, is there any chance that we can hit another server through the first server?
No, that is actually has to be taken care by the server side. Okay, that's a good question. What he's saying is, say for example, you are hitting, okay, client is hitting server A. Okay, but I want that server A, come on, man. I want this server A to internally hit server B and receive the data and return the data. This is what your expectation, right, Shiva? Sorry, Hemant?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but the problem is, when you are hitting the web service URL, you only have a right to hit to the server URL, because internally server code is its own job, right? You cannot judge the piece of code like this is the way you need to hit, this guy you need to hit. You don't do that. But if at all you say, for example, you're working with one of the team, They know that I will be hitting one of the URL server A. You are having the information of product data. Super fine. He will return. But server B is having the seller data. I'm not having the server A is not having the seller data. He is having the seller data. A server can again hit an AJAX call, and server will receive that seller data, and he will be responding back to the client guy. You cannot say that server A go to the server B, but inside the server A, those guys can add this logic of going to multiple servers, getting the data and respond back to the client. Internally within the server also, there could be an AJAX call. That is what I said you, right? AJAX is a concept, not a technology. If it is technology, it is dedicated to one of the programming language or one of the technology. But as it is a concept, you can implement the AJAX concept wherever you want the dynamic data from a different server. Either it is from the client to server or server to server or within the same server. It could be anything. Did I answer your question, Hemant? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, in a URL, how to know which data type is hold
in URL?
How to know which data type is hold in web server?
That is what the common handshake. Earlier, like Robin was asking the same question, right? So how do you know that what is the key? How do you know that whether it is a get or post? That is what the server guy will throw to you. Server guy will give you complete information. Okay, if you want product data, this is the web service URL. It is a method of get communication. It is a post communication. This type of data you will expect. This is the sample data format what we will receive. Every other information will be shared by the backend guy.
Okay, sir.
Next.
Sir, in real time when we host a website, so they will limit the number of calls, right? So how they do that?
So Abhinav, that I will be discussing when I actually go to the server-side coding. In the server-side coding, your question is very much valid. In the server-side coding, what actually they do is when the number of hits are happening, like they'll put a maximum hits of 100 at a time. So if it is beyond 100, they'll be going into the waiting list, or they'll be say something called as boss, server is simply busy, you have to hit after some time. So we can actually do that when we actually go to the server-side coding, because till now I haven't done any type of server-side coding, right? So when I go for that, then I'm going to discuss about this, because till now we are into the client side. Client will never put any type of restriction on the server side. Client never have any rights to or access to do any changes on the server side.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Yeah. Next. Okay, fine. Hope everybody is clear. Guys, again, I'm asking this question. Is everyone is so clear? If you don't understand this part, it will be like a very big black hole, you can say. I mean, everything should be dynamic. I mean, main thing is you need to understand the concept. Okay. Okay. Now what I'm saying is, as I said you, right now, we are taking this. Okay, let me close the unnecessary part. Yeah, we are taking the simple .json file and you are treating it as a web service URL. But now what I say is, I am the server guy available here. I have a bit of idea on the server. Why don't I help you guys in creating a web server or web service? Right now, I will show you what are the very simple steps to create a web service in Node.js, guys. Okay, simple steps I'm going to teach you. I'm going to show you. Blindly, you just follow the steps. I'm seriously saying, blindly you follow. Why the reason? Because I haven't explained about the Node.js, right? You won't understand the Node code and all, but at least I can tell you that if you follow this step, actual web service will be available. Anyway, later when I actually start the Node.js coding and all, I will give you the clear-cut idea of what is Express, how do you create a web service, etc. and all. But for now, I'm not interested with creating this dummy JSON URL. I want to feel that actual web service. So for that, I'm giving the sample steps you need to follow. Okay. And again, it's up to you guys. You say that, no boss, I'm not interested with that sample. I will only go with the .json file. It's up to you. Okay. Now, let us go with this, guys. Guys, please take the steps here. Anyway, in the notes also it is there, but you follow the steps. The very first thing, anytime you want to create a new web service, actual web service inside your Node.js, you need to go into the routes folder. Why our users registration is there? I haven't created this. Someone created it? Okay, fine. Anyway, when you go into your routes folder, you should see some index.js and user.js. What I'm saying is copy index.js and paste it again. Rename that guy. I rename that guy as product details. Okay. Existing index.js file, I'm simply renaming it to the product details.js. Now, if you open this product details.js, first step is you renamed it. Okay. I mean, copied and renamed it. Second step is remove the line number 6. I don't want this line number 6. Okay. You define any data what you wanted, where some data is equal to MSG, something called as hello. Okay. Simple data I have defined. Now, I want to treat it as a web service. This web service has to receive throw the data. Now I say data is equal to JSON.stringify data. Convert this object into string. Okay. And I simply say response.send data, as simple as it is. Now I'm done with creating a web service. You know what I've done? I mean, again, I'm telling what is this express inclusion? What do you mean by this router module? These all things we'll discuss when I actually go to the actual Node.js discussion. Right now, I taken the index.js file. Under that, I removed the line number 6, and I have added my own individual data, simple var data equal to stringify, and response.send the data. That's it. Now we know that. Now what I did here, I created this individual ball. Okay, this ball of code, what we discussed yesterday, right? Where is that? How do I change the background? This guy. Now this code I have written individual ball having, individual box or module which is having some set of instructions. That is what I have done. But the second step is, as I already discussed yesterday, this is a web service. Web service will be identified using what? Using what? URL. Unique URL, isn't it? Now I need to go with that URL also. How do you specify that URL? Now you go into the app.js file, drag and drop this app.js file. At line number 9, you already have this. Who added this registration? I haven't done this. Okay, fine. Now I will say something called as var user, sorry, not user, it is product data, right? Product data, some variable you create. Product data router is equal to require. Okay, you need to include that guy. What is that? Under the routes folder, there is a file called as product details, as simple as it is. You are including the product details using the require method, creating a variable to this. Now you come to line number 24. Okay, before line number 24, not 24, sorry, it is 30 line number. Now you specify app.use. Okay, under inverted commas, you specify the URL, any URL you wanted. That unique URL is user defined. It is not predefined. You can give whatever the URL you wanted. Okay, I will specify data, something called as product info, something like this. You can specify anything. And this is what product router is. Now, what do you mean by this line number 31? Anytime user is hitting this URL, you need to invoke this product data router. What is this product data router? This indicates there is a file called as product details.js under the route file, which is this guy. Then this guy will execute and he will respond with this data. Let us see whether it is happening or not. Okay, app.js, save it. And one more thing, anytime you do any changes to the server side, you need to restart it. Now I'm restarting it, npm start. Okay, it is listening. Now, how do I test this web service URL now? Close other tabs. Localhost 8081. And what is the URL I gave? The URL what I gave is Line number 30 I have added, right? Yeah, this is the URL. Copy this URL, hit this URL. Enter. Am I receiving the data? Yes. Now can I call this as an actual web service? Yes. You're hitting the web service, a server-side coding is getting executed, and he is responding back with the data. Now, instead of this hello, etc. and all, can I simply take out this JSON code? Can I take out this server-side coding? Instead of this data message hello and all, I simply put this. Now, if you restart the server, if you do any changes on the server side, you have to restart. Now, when I'm hitting this URL, am I receiving the product data, boss? Yes. Can I call this as an actual web service? Yes. Now you take out this URL, put into your coding. Where is our code? Instead of this dummy JSON URL, you simply put your actual web service URL. Save this guy, come back here and reload the page. Now you say load product data, you are receiving the data. Now some changes has to be done on the server side. Where I have to do? Nothing on the client side. It has to be on the server side. Mobile price, I would like to say some 3,000, 30,000 I made it out. Save this guy. Server guy will do the change. You will restart the data. You will restart the server, reload the page, load the product data. You should see the 30,000. But one more question, what you see is, boss, again, if you the changes has to be done, why again you are doing on the server side? Earlier we used to do on the client side. To avoid that, we are going with the server. But even in server also you are hard coding it. Actually, you should not hard code the data. You have seen this picture. Server will not hard code the data. In order to get the data, where the server will go? In order
Database.
to get the data, obviously it will hit the database. From the database, you need to receive the data, and I have to throw this. Right now, I'm not going much deeper here. I will show that later when we actually go to the Node.js. I will show you how to hit that server, how to hit the database, how to receive the data. Those all things I'm going to discuss out here. Instead of hard coding at the server side, I will even show you how to hit a MongoDB, how you receive the data, how you're going to render. But in general, this is what the complete overall picture of a web services in Node.js. So do you feel the steps are simple, guys? Can you follow it and you also can create a dummy web service URL?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Come on, guys. Why I get always response from 2, 3, 4 students? What about others? Not interested to speak? Please speak out, guys. If you are more interactive, that itself will make you guys to get into the class. If you just simply sit idle, looking into the system as like a movie, I mean, it doesn't help you guys. Please interact. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Anyone?
Sir, I have one doubt. Sir, in
Okay,
success
one second. Before that, Anil, you have sent me the message in chat here, but can you please put it on the GitHub? Sorry, in the Telegram, so that I will see, and from there itself I will give you the access. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Someone putting a question.
Yeah, yes, sir. So in success, can't we call another Ajax method?
We can do that if it is needed. If you
Okay.
say that I'm hitting one of the URL where first of all I'm getting the customer data. Okay, you receive the data. Now you send the customer ID and receive the receive his financial transactions. You can do that. It's all as per your requirement. Under your success, you can get another Ajax call. The statement what I gave is at a time you cannot hit. I mean, using the one single $.ajax method, you cannot hit multiple services. You need to hit only single service. But once you get a response, $.ajax method job is done, right? Now you can go with the Ajax call as per your requirement.
Okay.
Ravi?
So can we have? So we can have multiple Ajax calls
In a single application.
Yeah, in a single application.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And one more thing, guys, whenever you are hitting an Ajax call, is it not a server interaction? Yes. Remember, I was even talking about the network tab when we are talking about the spriting image concept and all. I was telling that there is a network tab which will list out all the server calls been happening. Now, once you go into the network tab, if you reload the page, why it is not showing all of them? this is a so and so, but you need to see the JS files, etc., etc. Where was that? Yeah, I mean, some settings you have missing in my Chrome browser, but anyway, like if you go into this Firefox, if you look into your Chrome browser, you can see that whenever I go with the network tab, it was showing all indicates any web server, any server interaction call, you have to show me. HTML, only the HTML file interactions with the server show me. CSS files, JavaScript files, XHR, which is called as XML HTTP request. So this is one of the tab. If you click on this guy, your intention is only AJAX calls you want to see. If you see here, whenever I'm reloading the page, it is showing that these all are the files. The dynamic product.html, jQuery.js, product app.css, app.js, favicon.icon. These all things are coming from the server. Yes, but I say that only CSS, then you will see only the CSS file. When I say JS, only the JS files. When I say HTML, only the HTML files. Okay, but if I remove all this, if I say XHR, only the AJAX calls are being shown. But right now, there is no AJAX call. Why so? We haven't hit it. When I click on this guy, now you see the AJAX call also. See, the status code is 200. I got a success status call. This is the web service URL, and this is the request you have sent, and this is what the response you have received from the server. This is how easy you can actually monitor the AJAX calls within your browser. Let's take a practical example, guys. Go for something called as Amazon. Okay, whenever you inspect this guy, go to the network tab. Okay, you see here, whenever you are searching for something, right? I say laptop. See, when I'm searching for laptop, whatever the suggestions you got, this is again a web service call. See, whatever the response you got, this is the headers, what actually been passed, request. See, when you're putting the request, this is what the request it has gone, view source, preview, sorry, payload is the request object, what you have sent. See, what is the keyword user has passed? Laptop. What is the response server is throwing? Is it not throwing a JSON object? Under that JSON object, you will see all the keys, whatever you have, you see on the page. Okay. In the same way, let's remove this. Now, when I click on search button here, okay, where is the response? See, everything is an AJAX call, and you should be able to see the response like this. So this is how they are internally hitting the web service. Whatever the data you see or here, these product data, etc., laptop, etc., and all, that is how they will be receiving in the form of a JSON object. And that data, they use the DHTML coding to show the data on the page. Okay. In the same way, when you go to something called as flipkart.com, okay, inspect this guy. Whenever you see the dynamic data is coming, for sure it is an AJAX call. Inspect this guy, go to the network. Okay, now I say something called as cars. Okay, see, auto suggestion, whatever the cars you get, everything is coming from this JSON object.
Sir, are those red buttons the options which we selected, which we are getting above, just below the console elements and other part?
No, red button is actually called as a record. You want to record. Say, for example, I want to see from this step to this step, what all the things been happened. You can simply say record, that all will be recorded. And at a time, you can see that what all the things been happened. Actually, what
below the search bar, there is another thing, right? Red one.
Below this is the filter actually.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, this is the filter. If you want to specify, filter is the one which is hiding actually. Remember, I said like only JS file, CSS, images.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Fetch or XHR, which is your AJAX calls. Okay. Yeah, now I'm searching for cars. Now when I'm clicking on this cars here, see here, what is the Ajax call being happened? Fetch is the Ajax call. See, this is the response from the web service. What is the, if you see, what is the first car, what we got? Suvarna 3D. Okay, let us copy this guy. Copy the response. Control F. Not there. Okay, might not be the call. FDP, which is the one which has to be. See here, whatever the message you see, NHR remote control car for kids, every other thing is a part of this guy. This is what they are receiving from the server, and this is what they are actually showing to the user. Remote control car. Every information, whatever you see, like here, you have the rating 405, you have the 3D light so-and-so, Toyota value, every other information, whatever you see on the page, it is coming in the form of a JSON object. Now you convert you read this JSON object, you show it on the page as that is where you use the DHTML coding. Understanding everyone, guys? Are you able to compare it, what actually happening on the real time?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So from today, try avoiding the hard coding data. We never hard code the data. Okay. Don't ever hard code the data. Try to read the data, anything from your server side by hitting a web service URL. Now, assume, let's take a practical example. I'm your manager. Okay. You have joined into my company. And I said that, boss, you guys need to create this type of page. Okay. I want you to create such type of page. Now, if I ask you to create such type of page, what is the very first question you need to ask me? I said that, boss, as it is, these product details has to be shown on the page. You need to ask me a question. What was that?
The URL and the particular keys and.
Awesome. Exactly. First of all, you need to ask me the question, something called, before the URL, you need to ask me, boss, this web page is static data or hard coded, static data or dynamic data? Okay, the first question what you need to ask me is, this is a hard coded data or a dynamic data? If I said you guys that, boss, it is a hard coded data, do you need to put any next questions to me?
Yes, sir. What is the particular key for this hard coded data?
No, right? When I say hard coded data, do you need to put any other questions?
No, sir. No, sir.
No. You can simply hard code it and start making use of it. But if I say that, no, boss, it is a dynamic data, what is the next question you need to ask me? Now you need to ask me that, what is the web service URL which I will hit it and I will receive the data? That is how the flow goes in your real time. Anywhere in your application, if you want to have the dynamic data, you have to purchase, read, you have to hit the Ajax call, you have to receive the data. That is what happens. Yeah, any more questions?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Actually, I was asking that what is Amazon Web Services?
Is it Shreya speaking? May I know who is that question? I think we lost your voice. I don't get your voice. Yeah, any other questions, guys? Okay, can we go forward? Next topic?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I mean, next topic in the sense, in Ajax itself, we have lot of parts, guys. Let me show you. Now, if you see, come back to this Ajax exam. I mean, I was talking about the asynchronous full form of this Ajax, right? Whenever you say something called as Ajax, where A indicates asynchronous. What do you mean by asynchronous? And what do you mean by synchronous? Asynchronous in the sense, say for example, I have some set of statements. At line number 8, I'm hitting one of the URL, web service URL, which is responding back after 5 seconds of time. And now you are hitting this URL and you are having all the set of instructions. At line number 5, I'm executing this. I'm executing line number 6. I'm executing line number 7. When I come to line number 8, what happens is you are hitting a URL, and when you are hitting an external server, it might take some time, right? Isn't it? It might take some time in responding back to the user. Now, when it is taking some time, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 1 minute, whatever it is, when it is taking some time, we never wait for the response from the server. We never ever wait for the response from the server. We automatically go to the line number 9 and 10, and we keep continuing executing the piece of code. This is what we call it as asynchronous code here, asynchronous communication. When we hit a URL to the server, we don't wait for the response from the server. We will be keep continuing the remaining further execution. And okay, we are continuing the remaining execution. Now, after 5 seconds, once we get a response, who is taking care? That is what the success guy or the error guy is taking care. Though that is why those are called as callback methods. We are not invoking them. Those are getting invoked automatically once you get a response from the server or you get an error from the server. Okay. By default, every AJAX call you do to any of the server is asynchronous. But if at all you say that, no boss, I want synchronous. What do you mean by synchronous here? When I come to line number 8, line number 9, line number 10, line number 11, when I hit a URL to the server, doesn't matter whether it is 5 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 25 seconds, whatever the seconds it might take the time, I will be keep on waiting until the response I get from the server. After the response from the server, then only I go with the further execution. This is what we call it as a synchronous communication. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in case of your synchronous communication, we have to wait for the response from the server. Doesn't matter how much time it will take. I will not go with the further execution until and unless I get a response from the server. Now, you guys tell me, is synchronous is recommended or asynchronous is recommended? Keeping time in your mind.
Asynchronous.
Asynchronous, because we are not wasting the time, right? We are not wasting the time. Once we hit a server, we are not waiting for that guy. We are just keep on going executed. But it is not like every time you can go with the synchronous or asynchronous. Why so? Let us say I have some set of instructions. Assume this is the Gmail part. Okay, Gmail server it is. There is a piece of line 9 normal code. Line number 12, you are actually hitting server to check is user is valid or not valid. Okay. Later, line number 13, loading Gmail content. Now you tell me here, when I come to line number 9, 10, 11, 12, at line number 12, I'm hitting the URL. Do you tell me, do you need to wait or you can go with the line number 13?
We have to wait.
We have to wait. There is no option. I cannot load the mail content until and unless I get a response from the server saying whether it is a valid user or not. So there is no chance here. For sure, you need to go with the synchronous communication. Okay. Now, let us take another example. Some set of instructions, some set of instructions, some set of instruction. Here, I have to load ads 1, okay, which is taking some 10 seconds of time. Another one, load ads 3. I am loading another ad here, which is taking 25 seconds of time. Now you tell me, at line number 8, I'm coming, number 19, I'm coming, 20, I'm coming, 21, I'm hitting a call. Do you want me to wait for 10 seconds or I can continue to the line number 22?
Continue, sir.
We need to continue.
Because it is an ad information. My next job is not depending on this guy. My next job is simply independent. This is just an ad which will come once it gets a response. So you as a developer need to decide whenever you're writing the piece of code, you need to decide whether you want to go with a synchronous communication or asynchronous communication based on the requirement what you have. Let us take a practical example. Now I say something called as console.log job after Ajax call before Ajax call. I have a line number 28. It is saying that job before Ajax call. At line number 43, job after Ajax call. And in this success, I got a success got response. Now, what is our expectation in general? Line number 28 got executed. Once you get a success, successfully got response, then job after Ajax call. But let us see whether it is happening or not. Now, if you come back and reload the page, inspect this guy, go to the console. Once I click on the load product data, see here, job before the call got executed, later job after the Ajax call got executed, later you got the successfully got response. Okay, why so? Actually, successfully got response has to be the second statement, right? The reason is we are not waiting. We are not waiting for the server response. I'm hitting line number 28. I'm directly going for line number 43. Later, I'm getting a response. Obviously, this guy is coming. So you tell me, is it a synchronous communication or asynchronous communication? Asynchronous. By default, it is. But what if I want to treat it as a synchronous? Boss, my line number 43 has to get only executed after I get a response. Then what I do, you have to send another key, something called as async as false, as simple as it is. Okay. Now, when I say async as false, reload the page, load the product data. First of all, you got the Ajax call. Later, you got the response from the server. Then only I'm going with the further jobs. Okay. Asynchronous by default, asynchronous will be true. But if you make it as false, it will automatically become a synchronous communication. Any questions up to this?
Sir, earlier we saw the form, right? So in that we are receiving data. So how do we send that to a server?
Okay. That is what this data object, right? Remember, that is what the data I said. In your using your form tag, we are sending the data to the server. But you know, there are some limitations with the form tag that you have to, I mean, there is no concept of too much of validations over there. But if you do something called as manually reading the data, we already saw that manually reading the data. Remember student data, student registration
Yes,
page,
sir.
what we have done, where user clicks on the button, you should able to create a JSON object. Under the JSON object, you have all the data what user has sent, right?
Yes, sir.
Now you put the data into this data object. That's it. Your job is done, right? Now you're sending the data through this data object.
Okay.
Next. No questions. Everyone is clear. Okay, good. Now, the next part, what we have is, say, for example, right now, if you see when I'm hitting a web service, go to the network tab, how much time it is taking to respond back? 5 milliseconds, just 5 milliseconds, guys. But in general, web service is one, but thousands of requests might come to the individual web service. At that time, you may get some delay from the web service. Okay, whenever you are hitting a web service, it might throw some delay to you guys, that because it depends upon the traffic. 1,000 people are hitting the same web service, 1,000 people are hitting the Amazon login. So you might get the delay over there. So how do you, I mean, in practical example, you go for the IRCTC. Whenever you do the normal reservation process, it will like immediately you will get a response. But when you go into the Tatkal process at the particular time period, it will be too much of delay. Why so? Lot of requests are coming based on the number of hits. The server is going into a busy state. So how do you handle that state? In order to handle that guy, you have something called, okay, first of all, right now, any number of times you hit our web service is simply responding in 6 milliseconds or 5 milliseconds, just the microseconds of time it is responding. But I want to provide a delay here. Okay, I want to make a delay here. So how do I delay here? Forcefully, I will add some set timeout method. In general, no one will forcefully delay the response, guys, because everyone want to throw the response faster. Okay, but I just want to simulate what happens if it is delayed. So that is the reason I'm forcefully doing at the server side. So what I'm doing here, set timeout, arrow method. Okay, I'm simply throwing some 4,000 seconds. 4 seconds actually. Okay, I simply take out this guy and I paste this. Okay, now if you save this guy and close this guy, restart the server, npm start. Now you come to the this guy and reload the page. Now when I'm clicking on the load product data, do you see, am I getting into the pending state? Yes, it happens. Now how much time it took? 4.3 milliseconds, 4.3 seconds it has taken. Okay, now my expectation is, boss, this is too much of time. One more thing, one problem what I have is, whenever I'm reloading the page, once I click on load product data, why I'm seeing an empty screen here? I should not see this empty screen, isn't it? I should not see this empty screen. As a developer, I know that it is taking time. Now the end user is going. Now when I'm clicking on the load product, when I see the white screen, I'll be keep on hitting this. What is happening at the background? Then how do you handle this guy? Can anyone tell me, like, how can we handle this not to show the white screen?
The loading animation.
Exactly. You would have seen something called as a loading image in most of the web pages. They'll show something called as a loading image, a spinner image, which says the end user that, okay, something is happening at the background. I need to wait for that, isn't it? So let us see how do we handle loading messages here. So first of all, get some loading GIF, transparent background. Okay. Okay, open image in a new tab. This is how the loading image is there. I copy this image. I will add into my web page. Go to your DHTML page. I create a simple div, class equal to loading block. Under that img src is so and so. Okay. Now I give some CSS. Where is our CSS? Product tab.css. For the images, okay, fine. Loading block, position is absolute. I said top is going to be 40%. And I say left is going to be 45%. Save this guy, come back here and reload your page. Do you see the loading which is coming in center? Super fine. But do you show the loading message on load of the page? Yeah. Do we show the loading image on load of the page, guys? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Come on.
Yes, sir.
Load of the page you show it, or on click of the button you show it?
On click of the button.
Button, right? Now I simply say display none. Okay. Now what I will do, see here on load, loading is not shown. When the user is clicking on load product, then I have to show the data. Where is the user clicking on load product here? Here it is coming. Now I say $of .loading block .show. This is the jQuery method. If it is JavaScript, you know what we used to say? Document .query selector .loading block .style style display is equal to block. This is what we used to do if it is normal JavaScript code. But if it is jQuery, simply say loading block.show. And if you, when you get a response from the success, you need to hide that guy. You simply say hide. That's it. Now, if you save this, come back and reload the page. End user clicking on load product here. What is this? Why it's not showing? Come on, man. What happened?
So you need to start server again.
Server is all fine, right? No, my rightmost click is not working. What happened to this guy? Click on F12 button. Button is not getting clicked. Reload the page. Wait. Let's copy this guy. Paste this. Inspect this. Go for console. What happened suddenly?
Sir, on the right side, it's showing some issues, right?
Okay, let us see that. Once I click on the load product data, it is coming, but why my loading block is not shown? Dot loading block dot show, right? Why so? When you go to the console, job before it. Oh. When I click on load product data, I got the loading block. Once I get a response from the server, that is gone. Now end user is so clear. What is he doing? I'm waiting until I get a response from the server. Are you guys clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and one more thing, guys. Again, these guys, in generally, I have added the delay here, but in general, no one will put a delay because everyone want the server to respond faster. But it might happen based on the traffic. Just to simulate that scenario, I have forcefully added this. That's it. Okay. And one more thing. Okay, when it is delaying, we are showing a loading message. What if there is a problem with the server side? Okay, server is having some issue and he is not responding, or the web service has been deleted, something might happen. Okay, you are hitting a wrong web service URL, whatever it is. Now, once you reload the page, you click on the load product data. If you go into the inspect, you might be seeing something called as error, right? Error while you are hitting to the server. Then how do you handle this guy? Do I need to show the corresponding error block also? Yes. So how do you do that? Again, create an error block. Say some class equal to error block. Error while communicating with server. As simple as it is. Now you take out this error block, define the CSS to this guy. I say, oh my God. I say this guy error block is also having the same. Along with this, error block is having a width of 300 pixel, text align center, border 1 pixel, solid, padding of 30 pixel. Okay, save this guy. Come back here, reload the page. Do you see the error block? No. Why so? Color as red. Come back and reload the page. Why is error block? Okay, both are in display mode, right? Display hidden. Now, when I have to show the error block here, once it is into the error, I say $of.error_block.show. Save this guy. Come back, reload the page. I say load product data. Now you're getting the error. But when there is an error, you need to hide the loading also, right? I'll hide the loading. Now, if you reload the page, click on load product data, error while communicating with the server. Okay. If your server is valid, reload the page. You are getting the loading message and you will be seeing the response. Now, two things you need to observe over here, guys. Either you have an error while communicating to the server. Okay. Server will never have a option to do the changes at the client side. Very first thing you need to understand. Server will never have an option to do the changes at the client side. It all happens at the client side itself. Even though the delay is happening at the client side, server side, even though the error is coming from the server side, but still server won't do any changes. UI guy, you need to handle the things at your client side. Am I clear, guys? Is everyone so clear? What happened, guys? People are falling in sleep.
No, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Fine. Okay,
Sir,
so fine, guys.
Sir, just a doubt, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, guys. One thing, guys. Guys, I'm done with the explanation for today. If you have any questions, you can stay. Otherwise, you can continue sleep. Yeah, go ahead, guys. Yeah.
Sir, just a doubt, sir. In sometimes we see in Uber